Music is Anthony Russell's life. For the better part of a decade, the 33-year-old aspired to be a professional opera singer. Then his life path changed. First, he discovered Judaism, and then traditional Yiddish music.
I primarily sing in Yiddish, so because of that, I tend to go as Anthony Mordechai Tzvi Russell.
Russell is probably not what most people imagine when they think of a Yiddish singer. Raised Christian in an African-American household in Northern California, Russell says he always felt a strong connection to Jewish texts. Then, in 2009, he went on a blind date with a rabbi to a New York Mets baseball game. As their relationship progressed, Russell realized that he was becoming very interested in his partner's spirituality.
He asked me at a critical point, like, would you ever consider converting to Judaism? And it wasn't very hard for me, because I was like, yeah, actually, you know what, I would.
Soon, he would have another life-changing experience, hearing the Yiddish music of Eastern European Ashkenazi Jews for the first time. While watching the Coen brothers movie A Serious Man, he heard a song by the legendary singer Sidor Belarski. Russell, who had been pursuing a career in opera, was hooked.
I decided to do some more research about Sidor Belarski and his music, and I found this amazing repertoire of music that was soulful and just dramatic and full of like interpretive possibilities for anyone who decided they really wanted to devote themselves to it, and that's what I decided I wanted to do.
Russell, who now lives in the San Francisco area, sees important connections between African American and Jewish culture, particularly around the ideas of exile and redemption.
If you consider, the African American experience historically, it's no wonder that so many of our texts around the idea of freedom come from the Torah. These are ideas that still have currency.
He says he's received positive reactions from his own family, as well as the Jewish community he's now a part of.
When I got back from the mikveh after formally converting, I texted my mother and I said, well, it's done. Your son is a Jew. And she texted me back and she said, I'm proud of you. And she said, I hope they treat my baby well. I have had very little reason to tell her otherwise.
Now Russell spends his days learning the Yiddish language and practicing his craft. His profile is rising on the Yiddish music scene. He's recently played gigs around the US and Canada, and he hopes to soon sing in Europe and Israel. And for anyone who sees him perform, it's a good bet that it will be an eye-opening experience.
It is unusual to see a guy get up and a black guy get up and sing in Yiddish for about an hour, but my hope is that, once that hour is over, people feel differently about Yiddish, and people feel differently about the abilities of what African Americans can do expressively by the time that's over.
In addition to learning the Belarski songbook, Russell is currently working on a project combining African American spirituals with traditional Yiddish folk songs. This is Ira Spitzer for JN1 in New York.